lean on us.
We are here for you.
You matter.
You are not alone.
Are you feeling overwhelmed? Not sure where to turn? The National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there for you 24/7. Call or text 988 or chat at 988sc.org. Whether you're having an emergency or you know someone who needs support now, they can help you take the next step towards finding hope and healing.
There is hope. 988sc.org.
Looking for a fun way to win 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/play100 and use code play100. That's code play100 at prizepicks.com/play100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Steering wheel. Loves the steering wheel, yeah. Steering wheel. Hey, steering wheel. Somebody tell him to give it to him. Come on. Whoa.
You like my bass? You like it?
How the f*** that's possible?
I'm driving like a grandma. Get that, Ralph? Did you hear me? From the radio. The radio, the radio. Ralph, acknowledge. Now come on, close him down and kill him. We've got a lunatic on the track down that interstate.
I am so annoyed.
Hello and welcome back to the Parc Fermé for podcast number 715. Oh boy, it's called New Beginnings, folks. New Beginnings. This is Todd.
No, Todd, not now.
AKA Negative Camber. You know why I've asked you here.
You must convince the villagers that I'm harmless.
That's what I need you to do tonight for your kind consideration. Hey, look, it's a new year. It's new beginnings. And there's some new news. Oh, yes. There's new news. But before covering any of that new news, I have to introduce my guest tonight, which of course means that's right. I got to go all the way to the right coast of America, nestled in our nation's capital, where she applies her skills as a master statistician. She also happens to be a catwoman with a very distinctive taste in wine. Good for her. You know her. You love her. It's the redoubtable Grace. Grace, how you doing?
Good. I'm hitting my mid-years right in stride, right? Like I got cats, I got wine, I'm good.
Yeah, you got it all covered now.
That's right, I'm ready.
You know, it's the off season. You got a couple cats, 2-3 cats. You got wine. You got a cat tree that is awesome.
The Burj Khalifa of cat trees, the world's biggest cat tree possible.
The Burj Khalifa, yeah. Exactly. I love that cat tree. For those of you listening, Grace, on our YouTube channel, we record these podcasts and we just put them up. And it's just talking heads. There's not fun animation or CGI, but there is an awesome cat tree.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I like it.
And all my Monaco posters, right?
Monaco, yes.
That's right, Monaco. That we had to reposition around the cat tree because.
Well, of course.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a feng shui thing.
That's right. I don't know.
You
whatever.
What
it
do
just
I know?
Keeps the cats happy. That's what's most important.
Yeah. You know, my life is reduced to one little room in the dark basement of my house. One little room in the little corner of my basement, and everything I have is like all jammed in here. All my guitars, all my stuff. It's it's a sad man cave.
Space. I was gonna say it doesn't seem like cave makes like it should be, voluminous, like a man storage closet. I don't.
Right. I mean, my new puppy, our new dog, has a crate that's almost bigger than my room.
Damn.
Crazy.
That ain't right. He didn't pay any bills.
I know. You know.
He should get the smaller space.
He should. I know. And that dog crate looks kind of comfortable, to be honest with you. It's got a nice pad in it. But
That's right. He seems happy.
Oh boy, Grace. Hey, I was thinking that the hashtag, we've got some news to cover in this podcast, and I was thinking that this week's podcast hashtag should probably be hashtag no more Cyril rest of the race. So there you go.
Great.
If you're responding to this podcast on social media, use the hashtag no more Cyril rest of the race. All right.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what? Who's the rest of the race?
No more radio, the rest of the race.
That's where I
right.
get that from.
That's
It'll all
right.
tie in. Fernando, Renault, it'll all tie in. But let's talk
Alpine.
about the news, shall we? Cyril Abiteboul has been alpined, so to speak. It was announced. I'm taking liberties with that name, and we've already discussed. You and I will call it Alpine the whole season.
I don't know. I mean, I still call them Force India. I mean, come on, people. McLaren has finally come all the way around that I can just call them McLaren Mercedes again, and it doesn't matter, right? Like
That's
if I just
right.
stick to it long enough, it'll just
That's
come
right.
right around. It'll be fine. So
That's right. So I should just keep calling Red Bull Jaguar. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and that would make like
so-
Haas Jordan, right?
Yeah, right. Oh boy. So today it was announced that Cyril Abiteboul will be leaving Renault and will not be taking the helm of the new Alpine F1 team. According to F1.com, the Alpine CEO, Laurent Rossi, will now be in control and Cyril is out. Now, it was interesting because the headline and other headlines I've read all day talk about the, quote, shock announcement and the shocking news that Cyril is out. And let's be honest, this isn't a shock to me at all. I mean, I've been advocating for his ouster for 2 years now. So,
I guess,
it doesn't. I started saying they ought to look at something else when they started their stagnation and then the whole mishandling of the Red Bull engine supply debacle and all that. And I thought, you know what? They need to change things here because this is not good.
well, they really couldn't write like, oh, they got rid of Cyril Abiteboul about goddamn time, or they got rid of Cyril Abiteboul. Where the hell have you people been for the last 5 seasons? Like, I mean,
got rid of Cyril. You saw it coming.
Yeah, no, right. Nobody's really shocked, but that doesn't make a very good, headline, right?
That's true. Yeah, you want shock announcement.
Cyril Abiteboul, right? Like that.
Yeah. So Cyril's out.
Right. Really, Cyril Abiteboul punches, Christian Horner in the face. That is a headline that I want to read, right? Like,
yeah, that would be a good headline.
This fight we're waiting for, but that we'll never get now.
Yeah, there was, you would have thought, well, if they were moving him out of the team boss role, maybe there would be another role at Renault or whatever, but apparently that is not the case, and he has left Renault, period. Grace, I may have some audio from that actual meeting between Cyril Abiteboul and the new Renault president or CEO of Renault. Now, I do have to caution our listeners, this is a very emotional interchange. And I want to caution you on that. So you may need a tissue. And I'm sorry if this pulls at your heartstrings for Cyril. But here then is what I think may be the actual audio of Cyril and the Renault CEO regarding his continuing as the F1 team boss for Alpine. Here it is.
I ain't gonna quit! Right, then you can forget it! You're out! Don't you do it! Don't you! I got nowhere else to go! I got nowhere else to go! I got nothing else.
Got nothing else, Grace. Isn't that sad?
I was hoping he just had a meeting with the Bobs, right? Cyril, I'm not gonna work here anymore.
Not gonna work here anymore, right?
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, I should have thought of that one.
Okay.
I totally forgot that one. But
they retired his bad TPS reports, right?
Right. It's just that we're putting new cover sheets on all the TPS reports. Did you get the memo? Oh, poor Cyril. What will he do now? I don't know. I remember a long time ago, you and I were doing a podcast, and I think it was HRT or whoever it was, or Caterham, or whoever it was that came in, and kind of out of nowhere, it seemed to me, right? And I'm fully willing to admit if I'm way off base here, but it just kind of seemed to me that Cyril kind of came in and was made team boss kind of out of nowhere. And I wasn't even sure, how do you pronounce that? The bona fides. I don't even know where he came from or what he had done in the past as far as racing. And so I always wondered, as he kind of moved up the F1 ladder, when he got to Renault, I thought, man, that is a really steep move from a little privateer team all the way up to a manufacturer works team. And then, Fred Vasseur left. But with the new, because this, if there's connecting dots here, we go back to Carlos Ghosn when he got and the CEO, and then they brought in a new CEO, and the new CEO has a little different direction. And Renault was really assessing whether they were going to continue F1 last year. And then they got rid of Fred Vasseur. Remember, he went to Sauber. Now Jerome Stoll just left early December, mid-December, if you will. So you could see these changes all coming. But Grace, they may not be done. There were some rumors this week that, and you'll appreciate this being the MotoGP woman that you are, there were some rumors that Davide Brivio
I'd heard those rumors
could be coming to run the team as a team boss for Alpine. Well, now this is interesting for those of you who don't watch MotoGP. I know Grace.
What's wrong with you? First of all,
right.
What have you been doing with your life?
Right. Suzuki announced that it was parting company with Davide Brivio, who has enjoyed tremendous success in MotoGP with his latest effort taking Suzuki back to the winner's circle. The team said they were shocked. Now, I agree with that headline.
Yes, that is actually shocking. That is very shocking, right?
Yeah, that was very shocking, I'm sure, to Suzuki. They said they were shocked with the announcement, while Brivio said that he was offered an enormous challenge and wanted to take it on. Now, the details were very light. And today's announcement about Cyril did not, deny or endorse the rumor. But, it's kind of interesting. There's multiple outlets that carried that news about that rumor. Brivio knows how to win, Grace. And while the pieces and parts are different and there's 2 extra wheels, I think it could be a good addition like the Andreas Seidel was for McLaren. Fresh eyes, fresh approach. And that's exactly what I think at Alpine needs with Fred coming back, right?
Right. And especially because the thing is that, you don't have to be knowledgable. I mean, you know what I mean? Like you have engineers and that kind of stuff. So, you don't have to know everything. And I remember Steve Matchett in his one book, right? He kind of put the Ron Dennis kind of a team principal who came up through racing, who knows everything about it, versus a Flavio Briatore who came in from the business world and doesn't know crap about a car, but knows how to run an operation, knows how to get the right people in the right place. So this is kind of, somewhere in between. I mean, it's closer to a Ron Dennis. Davide is, you know what I mean? It's shocking. I mean, it would be like Toto Wolff, right? If we didn't have all these rumors about what's Toto going to do, let's pretend Toto was no, I'm in, I'm not going anywhere. And then the next day he was like, oh, just kidding. I'm going to go to this other racing series, right? It's a big name and it's pretty shocking that happened. But if he wants a challenge, this is the team that's going to give it to him. I mean, Renault's been, as you were saying, and as we made clear last week, they're in, they're out, they're up, they're down. This is the worst way to manage a team. Nobody's motivated by, you sneeze wrong, you're getting fired, right?
Right.
Scare the deer away, that's it, you're fired. It's not the way you run a team. And so, I mean, this really, it isn't in the engineering side of it. It isn't the car building, car racing side of it. It is in the human being, organizational management part. And that's absolutely what he can bring to the team. So, well,
it's in the resource management too. In that part of it. And you look at what he was able to take from Suzuki's resources versus a team perhaps like Yamaha and Honda, and to be competitive and put that program together, which is a real feather in your cap.
Yeah. So absolutely. I think it's great. I mean, I of course, I hope it works, right? I don't want it to not work, but
they haven't announced it, but I think it would be great to see a person like that. I think Andreas Seidel has been a really welcome addition to McLaren.
Right.
And just coming from the outside. I mean, very much like Andreas, A complete different series. It wasn't motorcycle, but a different series. But he knows how to win races. He knows racing. He knows racing strategy. He knows the resource management, and Davide does too. You know, he understands all of that. So it's not like you're bringing in Finbar, the accountant. From the venture capital company to run this bad boy. It's Davide is you talk about pedigree, and I can't remember. It seems like, if memory serves, he was at Yamaha, I think, and had a lot of success there too. So anyway,
I mean, it's definitely carrying in the MotoGP press. So I think that's. I mean, just do it, just announce it, and let's move on. I just think. Again, you know, I think, you know, I want to challenge. Maybe I'll run an extra mile today or something. Like, this is like, I want to challenge. I think today I'm going to do a triathlon, and I've never done one before. Like, sure, just jump right in, right? Like, I go right for the deep end, man. But I mean, if you want that kind of challenge, then that's going to give it to you. And this is a chance, right? It's a clean slate over at Renault Alpine, and maybe he won't have the same like threats of being fired, right? He's bringing a pedigree with him, right? Like, so he's able to focus on his past history and say, like, okay, I know you're all a little nervous right now, but here's where this is going. Like, here's how we started before. You know what I mean? Like, so you're able to pull on that old experience. Where I also don't know where Cyril came from. I guess I could have had Huxley do some Wikipedia searching for me before the show.
Well, I should have too. I should have thought about that. And
right? Get those guys doing something. But you know, you just, I guess it's similar to what I was talking about with Vettel last week, right? That Vettel's a veteran, and so that could really bring something to a team, right? To Aston Martin, and because he knows what winning looks like, and he knows how that should feel, and he knows what people should be doing, and that can really help a team. This is the same thing, like, right? Like, some of it may just be, I've won stuff. We need to pick you up to the next level. We need to like help you win stuff, and sometimes you just need somebody that's won stuff to help you win stuff.
Yeah,
that's my hashtag. That's my very like scientific approach to team management.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it. So, it'll be interesting to watch this space. It'll be interesting to see if that develops and how it develops. A couple thoughts on that. The Flying Dachshund on Twitter sent me a message. Hey, do you think this might make it easier, pave the way for Renault to supply Red Bull now? And I thought, it's a good point. I have to think that it would definitely remove some of the friction that exists because the friction between Cyril and Christian, you could cut that with a butter knife, you know? So I think that could help. I think it's good. Also in the F1 article at F1.com, they said that the team was going back, the Alpine team was going back to the blue and the white and the red of the French flag. And I was thinking, I like that, and that's cool and all that. As much as I like the black and yellow and all that, everybody knows I really want to see the return of French racing blue. And so I hope they do that. That would be.
I mean, this is your best shot, right? Like, now is when you want to clean house, bring in all the new people, and just start anew. And I do think it will make it easier for Red Bull. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. I mean, how deep that friction is, right? Is it really just two men who can't get along? Because as we talked before, that's something you can get over, right? You don't fire somebody because Christian Horner and Cyril Bitbull don't get along. You just make sure those two are never in a room together or whatever. There's plenty of people that could do this negotiation without involving those two, right? But if that's really it, then I guess this does make that easier.
It'll be interesting to see. I am curious, so keep your eye out on that. That's a developing story and breaking news.
And a good, this is the thing. I don't know. We're never going to get off the story, but if their biggest Aston Martin, right? So they're also going through big changes, right? I mean, not quite as significant as what Renault to Alpine is going to be, but this is your chance to see, while other people are making changes, you also can make some, like this might open up a space for you that wouldn't be there if Racing Point was still being Racing Point. I
agree. I agree. I think it's the right move. I think they got to shake something up where they were heading. The trajectory, if I think back, I think there's we're on a 3-year program. And we're beyond that, and they kind of went backwards, a couple of years ago. And I just think you've got to change. And we've said this on the podcast 1,000 times. I've always said, when you're doing poorly, you can't fire the whole team. You fire the coach, right?
That's right. It's always the coach's fault.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Speaking of Racing Point and Lance Stroll.
I want it now. What's the matter with those twats down there?
That's right.
And people are, I'm no Lance Stroll fan, but people are really harsh on the Lance Stroll.
I know. Poor Lance.
Man.
Poor Lance. He had a good season, and that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm bigging him up right now.
And I think this is Lance's, again, we talked about this last week, right? Like, this is Lance's shot, right?
Yeah.
Your shot to be more than just your daddy's money, right?
That's right. That's right.
Here we go.
And this is an interesting story. I was reading this. There is, there's little to argue with here as the 2020 season. Excuse me. It's difficult to talk about this.
I know you get all emotional on the inside when Lance Stroll comes up, right?
Lance comes up, and I just, I can't help it.
It's the hair. I know, right?
It is, and it's that new glamour shot he did. It's just a big emotion.
And it's always a big emotion.
We all know that underneath that hat, you got that Lance Stroll hair, right? Like, you take it off and it just like pops right out, right?
Yes, yep. I'm 6'3", but 6'5" with Lance's hair.
Yes.
So anyway, all right. So there a little to argue with that the 2020 season was Lance's best season to date. And to be fair, he hasn't had a long storied past to fall back on. But just the same, it was his best as he scored more points in this past season than the previous 3 combined. So he had a really good season from that. Also, to be fair, Lance did acquit himself quite well in changing conditions in wet weather racing. And as anyone will tell you, that's not easy. That separates the pros from the amateurs, right? And he does really well with that. He did really well in 2020. So I actually saw I saw some things that were, I think you could chalk that up being young, kind of new to Formula One, rookie. He's not a technical rookie, but you know what I'm saying. Just kind of developing the racecraft. I think that everybody's been through it. Lewis has been through it. Everybody's been through it. And I think Lance has had some of those moments.
They're Jensen Button years. Yes.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, sure. And you're going to have that George Russell, hitting the wall and you're going to have moments like that. And Lance certainly has and did in 2020. But I thought his comments around this past season were kind of interesting. He said, quote, "Sometimes when I was in a bad car, if anything, it kind of backfired on me, especially in the beginning of your career. When you're in a bad car and you don't know what it's like to be in a good car until you sit in one, you kind of start to question what your ability is like and if it's as good as others that are in good cars, because you just don't know what a good car feels like. I think this year I proved a lot to myself. I just answered a lot of questions that I've been asking myself in the last few seasons up until I had the opportunity to sit in a car that really performs." Honestly, I think this is a great point. I think he did learn a lot. And one can only imagine, Grace, that perhaps George Russell learned a tremendous amount about what a good car is supposed to feel like when he jumped in for Lewis, right?
Sure.
That reference point has to be critical. And so I think Lance is describing that incredibly accurate. Sure, yeah, it helps when your dad owns the team. But let's be honest, Lance made more of his car and about how his performance last year was really down to a great car. And that's where he was really pinning it than he was bigging himself up. And that's a pretty humble, pretty mature approach to this. So kudos to Lance. I thought it was a good point.
Yeah, what a human quote, right? Like, I think that's super relatable. Haven't we all been in that situation where you're like, it's kind of like, when you're taking an exam, right? And you're the first one done and you look around because you're thinking, well, at least I would think, what did I miss?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, everybody else is heads down and are feverishly writing, and I can't think of anything else to write. I must have done something wrong, right? Like, that kind of second guessing is very human. And that when you don't have somebody around you that says, it's not you, it's the car, which your team isn't going to tell you, right? You have to figure that out for yourself. But how would you would of course start to doubt yourself. So I think I agree. That's a very mature, very humble, a very human kind of thing that I hope instead of the risk of saying something like that though, is then people like crucify you for it. Like, oh, look at it. No, this is like, we all feel this way. And that's a very human thing to say, whatever your field is. We've all been that, we've all been in that position where you're like, am I the only one that sees this issue here? Well, nobody else seems to be saying something. So then I'm not going to say something because it might be me, right? Like maybe everybody else is okay with it. And so you kind of have to, wait until after the meeting, you go, what do you think? And then you find out that everybody thought the same thing you did and everybody was doing the same thing you did. And that just takes maturity and experience to be able to say, it's not me, it's the car, or, here's the situation. He's, I can't imagine that kind of, that insight and maturity at, what is he, like 24? I don't know. He's not that old, right?
Yeah, 21, 20,
yeah,
something like that.
That's a lot of insight, I think, because again, it's, it's with experience that you're able to say, I know it's not just me, it's this car. I'm able to see where I stand and in comparison to others. But when you're young like that, it would be very hard. And he knows, he can read, he has eyes, he knows everybody's just, thinks he's there because of his dad's cash.
Sure.
And in some ways, he is there only because of his dad's cash, but nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants to be Pastor Maldonado, right? You're only here because you got a lot of money behind you. Nobody wants that. And except maybe Pastor Maldonado, but so I just think that for him to say, look, I had a good year. I've never been in a car that's this good. I hope this continues for next year. He kind of like, said, we'll see how this goes. I think that there's a lot of space for him to do really well this year.
Yeah, I feel like he basically was saying, I was in a much better car and it gave me a lot more confidence to know that when I am in a good car, that's the reference point. And I'm pretty pleased with the performance that I put in. And I would echo that with Lance. I thought the season that he put in, yes, he had some gaffes, he had some moments, but I think by and large, he put in a good season. And you're right, Grace, he knows why he's there, but that isn't what he wants to be known for. And I kind of feel like 2021 is a really important year for him because he's going to be it's an all new sort of brand, all new sort of approach that he has a new teammate that he's got to deal with. There'll be some interesting dynamics in that. I'm sure there was a comfort level with Sergio. Sebastian's a different beast. He's a 4-time champion. We've talked about what Sebastian has to do this year. But I think Lance could use this year just to basically harvest whatever racecraft he could get from Sebastian.
You can squeeze out of him.
And add that to his arsenal. And I think that would go well, too, for Lance. There was a lot of argument about, well, you should have ditched Lance and kept Vettel and Perez. Well, yes, as a point-scoring juggernaut, maybe that was a better building block to a points. But that's not going to happen because his dad owns a team. So, yeah, interesting times.
Well, I think what could honestly become Lance Stroll's story, like the longer arc of a 8-year, 10-year career, is he made it through those first years only because of his dad's cash. But then he showed us that if his dad's cash wasn't there, he did deserve to be in Formula One, right?
Yeah.
He's really at that point where that narrative could change, that like his dad could be like, I'm out of Formula One, I'm going to MotoGP, screw you guys, I'm out. And somebody would still keep Lance, right?
But he's there on merit.
Right. This is his big chance to kind of change that narrative that he's only there for that.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Next up in the news, it's your team. It's McLaren. And get this, McLaren has apparently secured the rights to entertain creating a team in Formula E.
What does that mean? No, not the electric part. I know. Has secured the right to entertain a team. Like, I don't know. That sounds like, when somebody wants to date somebody and they have to talk to their parents, like, I'd like to secure the rights to go to prom with your son tonight. I don't know. Like, that seems like a weird statement, but I guess it's that they can dip their toes, but they're not committed, right?
So they wanted the option to enter and get a spot on the grid at the end of next year when Generation 3 technical regulations come in.
Sure.
And so they wanted that. Now, I got nothing to say about whether that is a good move, a bad move, how all the details go together, what impact that would have on the grid, because I got to tell you, I'm not a big keen watcher of Formula E. And so
it's the future, Todd.
It sure is. Thankfully, I won't be around to see it. So I think
you're not that old. What do you make it sound like? No. You make it sound like I'm a 90 and I'm not going to be here and electric's a thing. Electric's a thing now, man.
It is the thing. I know.
Not the thing. It is a thing. But yes, it's here now.
It is a thing. I agree. But the reason I want to talk about this is I don't know what an impact, like I said, I don't know any of those details. But what I'm unclear on is why they would want to enter given their current financial situation. I understand not wanting to be left out of the fun and games of EVs, but are they not heavily leveraged at this point? Or is their new financial investor just completely flush with cash and a big fan of Formula E? Because last I checked, they were hawking, their historic cars and beg borrow steel. Yeah.
That's what I want. It's the future, so everybody's getting into it. In case you haven't noticed that, like Volkswagen has literally said, we are only going to build electric, right? Like, I think every manufacturer is. I mean, come on, who doesn't have an electric vehicle at this point, right?
You're like, yes, the future. Watch as McLaren enters Formula One as they build a car and adjust it. Yeah.
I mean, right. It's right. The ride of tomorrow at Disneyland. I get it. I'm just saying that much as hybrids are here because, well, that's what everybody thought the future was. Well, now the future is EV. And so every manufacturer is building EVs, looking into EVs.
Yeah. Did you see General Motors' new logo? A nod to the electric.
You know what that logo looks like? That logo looks okay. Well, yeah, I agree. But what it actually looks like, I think, is actually worse than shit. It looks like, some old person like myself saying, what would the kids really be into? Lowercase letters and the G's, you know what I mean? Like, it's like what?
Let's keep it on the down low.
Right. It's like what a 40-year-old thinks that a 16-year-old would really want to drive, right?
Did you get the point that the M is supposed to, in negative space, supposed to look like a plug, like an Edison plug?
Oh my God. Okay. So first of
all.
And
that's not even what electric car plugs look like. They're not Edison plugs.
They aren't. But I mean, the thing is that, but I never see those things. Like, I only really within like the last year ever learned that the Amazon logo, the arrow points from the A to the Z.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, I mean, all these kind like I learned, I'm like, oh my God. And now, of course, I see it all the time. But, it was just like all these kind of things. And I'm like, somebody spent a lot of time and it went right over my head. So,
but it's supposed to resemble Edison plug. The name
I didn't see. I just
the name of an Edison plug is named after Thomas Edison. That's how long that's been around.
Literally.
I
didn't catch that because I was too busy mocking the fact that it looks like what a 40-year-old would be like. I know what 16-year-olds want. They like lowercase letters. I was like, oh gosh, it's terrible. But it's GM. What was I don't know.
Hey, let's announce it on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. With a cool dance, right? Like,
with a dance.
Right. There's exactly. We now have a character in Fortnite. I don't know, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
See, that shows you how out of touch I am.
It's Mr. GM. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So,
anyway, sorry to get segue on that. Everybody's into EVs.
It's the off season. It's okay. We have 9 shows, or we could just talk whatever we want. It's fine. Right. And all those other shows, I talk about whatever I want, but you try to rein me in.
Yeah, right.
That's the only difference. Now there's no reining in. But everybody's getting into EVs. Everybody has EVs. There's EV supercars. There's EV cars you can buy, as regular people for the road. It's the future. So, of course, that is where all the car manufacturers are going to go. Now, what does that look like for racing? I don't know, right? Because is Formula E really the Formula One of electric cars? No, I don't think any of us.
Looking for a fun way to win 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/play100 and use code play100. That's code play100 at prizepicks.com/play100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million football fans who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/get100 and use code GET100. That's code GET100 at prizepicks.com/get100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Think that, right? So, and I've watched Formula E. I'm not as down on it as you are, but I still don't think it's like, oh, this is Formula One. It's not like I would explain MotoGP to somebody as, oh, it's the Formula One of motorcycles. I would not explain Formula E as, oh, it's the Formula One of electric cars, right? Like I don't think it's there, but it is where all the manufacturers are going to go because that's where all the money's going.
Well, some of them just left though. Didn't Audi just leave? They got in and now they got out.
Did they? I don't pay. Look,
See,
basketball season has started. I have no space. Like the pandemic has been bad for a lot of things, but sports is a mess. I have no idea what anybody's seasons are. I feel like it's when we moved to like, it used to be TV shows. They had a season, right? And you had the fall season, nothing. Everything's streaming now. New shows show up all the time. Who knows what I'm supposed to be watching when, right?
Didn't we play hockey over the summer? I don't even remember
it again
now.
This week. Like, I don't know. Sports, it's just all a jumble. I have no idea what seasons are anymore. So
I do know my Chiefs are still in it. So, there is that. But
yeah, I was hoping we'd get through this whole show. Sorry, that game was trash. It was so much trash. I just want to point out, though, that I did watch the Ravens game, and Harbaugh totally, I don't know if you watched it all, but right? So he wears one of the long face masks, right, that like come all the way down, and he wears sunglasses, and then he had a hat on. He could have been anybody in khakis. There was no identifying him because it wasn't just like this part of his face. It was like the whole. Anyway, I was just like, from now on, he's the khaki bandit. That's their coach.
Khaki bandit. I like it.
Could have been anybody. So, that game was.
Sorry about your Steelers there.
That was trash. Tough. Literally, I was talking to my mom, and we were like halfway through the first, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed. This isn't gonna get better, right?
Yeah,
it's not like I'm gonna wake up.
Hey, look, I've been there for decades with the Chiefs.
You're right. You're right. But
I feel your pain.
Who does Kansas play? Kansas City play?
They play Cleveland next, right?
Oh, that's right, because they're 1 and Cleveland's the lowest seed.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Well, then that'll be fine. I have no worry. No worry. Whatever. We'll see. We'll see you next week. 2 weeks. We'll watch that game.
Yeah.
They'll beat the Browns. Really.
All right. Enough about McLaren.
We're just focusing on orange things. I don't know.
It's the Cleveland Browns. Why is their helmet orange? They're Browns.
I don't know because it goes good. Although I'm sure I told this story too. We redid our den. Like every color combination that you can come up for paint and carpet is somebody's sports team. And so at one point we were like, oh, this would be nice with this. Oh no, that's the Cleveland Browns. We can't have that. Like so we ended up with Ohio State because we have red walls and gray carpet. But it's like you can't ever get around that because every color combination is somebody's sports team. And I was just like. I had several people like, oh, I'm big fans of Ohio State. I'm like, I went to Penn State. I hate those dudes, but it's a nice color combination.
It is. It is a good color combination. I agree. It's kind of like papaya orange.
And blue. That's right. Which
and
is a very
French racing blue.
Very weird color combination, but apparently it works.
It does work. It's got to be the right blue, though.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Hey, I did like this parting shot from Kevin Magnussen. One thing I liked about Kevin was his candor in the F1 paddock. Well, I mean, sometimes I got a little bit too much candor, but that's how Kevin rolls, right?
I like that about, yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin is moving to IMSA to join Chip Ganassi Racing's new DPI team. And he's very excited about that. And he should be, because Ganassi is usually a race winning team.
Top notch, man.
And but what I thought was interesting was his sort of parting comment about leaving F1, which has, to him, like many young drivers, is always their dream. That's their goal, to get to F1. Mm-hmm. And they've, had that dream for years. So he gets there. But his parting comment was interesting. He said, everyone wants to get to Formula One, including myself. That's what I've always dreamt of. But after a while, if you can't win races, even scoring points isn't so exciting. With Haas, we've done that quite a lot. Recently, not so much. But even getting into the top 10 becomes old. That's not the true target if you're a real winner. That's not going to satisfy you. We often hear the battle for points, and each point obviously means something to the teams. This is me talking. Means something to the teams, but as drivers, surely trying to claw for a single point each race or something has to really wear on people like Kevin. And I think in this case, and people like George Russell, Antonio, Nicholas, those guys at the back, just every week, every race that they're in is like, oh, we're just trying for a point, trying to get to 10th place for that point. And at some point that does have to weigh on you quite a bit. And I think what Kevin was saying was, it's going to be nice to go from that point starved, scrambling to Chip Ganassi, where we have a shot to win the race every weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What, you mean Antonio didn't dream of being at Minardi for his whole career? Yeah.
No, he wanted to be at Alfa Romeo because they got the coolest logo.
They do have the best logo. That is still true.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that yes, and you don't care about that as a driver. I mean, of course it's important, right? Where your rankings are, and it's important for the constructor championship, but who gets excited by, you got us 2 points today, right? Like that. I mean, that wouldn't motivate anybody, right? So
yeah, I think Kevin's like,
not good enough, damn it, not good enough.
Good enough. I'm ready to go. And now he'll be an IMSA, which is the cool thing, is because now Kevin Magnussen is going to be in the same paddock bumping elbows with our very own Paul Charsley.
That's right.
Yes.
That is true.
So Paul will get the lowdown.
That's right. They'll be friends. They'll share
They'll be
beer
buddies.
After the race. That's right.
Paul will find out what was really going down in the paddock.
That's why he's really in IMSA, to get us the dirt for the show.
That's right. He's a plant.
Right. You think it's because he's a professional and he's really good at his job. Wrong. It's just for the gossip.
No, this is the kind of extensive research we do here.
That's right.
Atticus Huxley found him the job, got Paul in there. Doesn't know anything about racing or driving. He's just in there to really hunt down Kevin and get the skinny.
That's right. I like that he's there to hunt down Kevin Magnussen, because of all the people we'd want dirt from, that's who it is. Right?
That's who it is. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like we already will know whatever Kevin Magnussen would tell Paul.
Yeah, pretty much. I think so.
Again, as you noted, not really one to be shy about how he feels about things, but yeah, I mean, and that's, that's gotta suck. That's not what anybody wants out of their career. Mm-hmm. And especially a career that he's been doing since, these guys have all been doing this since they were like 4, right?
Yeah, a long time. Yeah.
So I can't imagine something you've been working towards since you were 4, and now suddenly you're here and all you are is stuck at Haas, and it's terrible and they're mean. So
yeah, and you're puttering around at the back of the grid.
Not a great situation.
Yeah. Very tough. Hey, there's other big moves in Formula One. F1 has a digital vacancy these days. Well, let me put it this way: you aren't going to have Frank Ardhofer to push around anymore, Grace. Frank has decided to leave his post as the head of F1's digital and licensing program and move back to America, where he can spend time with his family and his newborn baby. And who can blame him for that? I mean, if that's the real reason.
Spend more time with the grandkids, right? Like,
not saying it isn't. Not saying it is. That's the reason given.
That's
Right.
always the reason.
Now, I'm not implying anything, but keep in mind that Stefano is coming in, and perhaps some changes may be made at the senior level. I don't know.
To the digital and licensing program? What the hell does he even do?
This is the brains behind F1 TV. This is the brains behind all the merchandise licensing.
Oh, yeah, he
This is the
should go then.
Yeah. See,
Guy's a mess. He should go. Now that I know what he does, he should be out of here. I'm Stefano. He's out of here.
yeah. See, and I was saying there might be possibly an upside to this, which there might be less emojis in their tweets. I don't know. I hope
right.
so.
Right.
All the clapping hands. So anyway,
hire some actual kids to run your
right.
social
Oh,
media.
it's a young technology, Grace.
Well, yeah, but stop pretending that you're old and stop being old and pretending you're young, right? Like just
right. Just
hire somebody that can do this, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Hashtag where the adults. If there's an upside, maybe it will be fewer emojis. But Frank was part of the esports program for F1 2, and the licensing programs. And get this, he will not be replaced because now
You can't.
Well,
You can't replace a man of Frank's caliber.
he is the indispensable man.
You can't replace that.
You can't replace Frank.
Nope.
No, that's
somebody I've never heard of until 3 seconds ago, and I didn't even know what his job was. Yeah, you can't replace that.
There's no replacing Frank. It cannot happen.
That's it.
No one could walk. No one could fill those shoes, Grace. No one.
No one could mess up F1 TV quite as bad. So it's true.
Yeah. So he's not going to be replaced. They're going to now shuffle all the stuff that he was in control of. They're going to shuffle all that around to different departments.
They're going to give some to that guy, the single seater guy.
Right.
Also never heard
He's
of.
the director of single seaters.
Yeah, that guy. That's a great title.
I'm the directing of cars with shooting brake car racing.
Yeah, right.
The director of Tin Tops.
Exactly. So I think that the org chart should be, if Martin Brundle wrote an org chart, this should be it, right? It should all just use British colloquial phrasing for instead of two wheels or whatever.
I'm the senior manager of Donkey Legs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. I still think snake hips was by far the weirdest thing he said all year. He described George Russell as having snake hips. And even Crofty was like, what? Like usually everybody else, I just assume, and sometimes it is, sometimes he's using some colloquial phrase that I've just never heard. And people who live in England are like, oh yeah, people here say that all the time. Fine. Sometimes he says things and people are like, I've never heard that. Right. Like, so This was one that people were just like, I think only Martin Brundle says that.
Well, I caught Crofty out because he's got that hourglass figure of David's,
Yeah, hourglass, right? Like maybe if he's sideways, he gets half an hourglass. I don't know. He's no Ted Kravitz, let me tell you.
Yeah, nobody can be Ted Kravitz. So anyway, who knows? Maybe Will Buxton could become the F1 esports legend.
Sure. Why not?
I'm voting for the whole thing to be put over in my buddy Jason Swell's hands.
All right.
To take over the program because A, he's a good guy, and B, he's Scottish. And damn it, that's worth a lot these days in my book. But I am biased on that.
That's right.
So there you go. All right.
Because hashtag, if it's not Scottish, it's crap.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Hashtag no more Cyril, rest of the race. That's your hashtag for this podcast. Use it
hashtag, you got to win stuff in order to get stuff.
You got to win stuff to get stuff. All right. What else? Oh, well, this is kind of big news. Delays or cancellations. F1 offered an aggressive 23 race calendar for 2021.
It's starting in like I said, like 9 weeks. Like,
yeah,
it's
right.
Literally right around the corner.
It sure is. And I thought at the time, congratulations, very aggressive calendar.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But there are already rumblings of cancellations and requests for delays. The Australian Grand Prix is being pegged as a possible cancellation, while China is officially asking Formula One to be delayed until later in the year. Now, you could probably see that coming, but one would presume, Grace, that F1, having done the terrific job that they did last year with the schedule, would end up looking, possibly similar to the 2020 calendar with Portimao and possibly Imola filling in those gaps. And, who knows? But so if the COVID debacle doesn't relent, then you could start to see this backing up a little bit, races getting delayed, some being canceled again, that kind of thing. And we all know that Vietnam got canceled because apparently Formula One, their big goal 2 years ago was bringing in a brand new race with a crook.
That's right. No, here's what I think we should do. Formula One, I hope you're listening, but not Frank because he's got no weight anymore.
No, Frank's gone. He pulls no weight.
So, you know how we always talk about, well, people, not me, but other people say like we should just run reverse, right? Like we had the 2 races at Silverstone. We should run this way and one this way, right? Let's do that with the schedule. Let's just take the schedule and turn it around and let's just go back to Bahrain. We'll run the oval. This is not an oval, but now I have to call it an oval because it annoys people. So I'm going to go. We're going to go run the oval, the short track. We're going to run the regular track. Then we'll go to Abu Dhabi. Let's just go backwards. Just completely screw up any sense I have of any sports having any seasons anymore. We're just going to go right back to where we were and work in reverse. And then Australia will have time to catch up. Maybe by the end of 2021, Australia will be ready to have a race. And isn't that what we all really want?
Or, maybe they'll be like, get off now. Who knows?
It just won't end in Abu Dhabi. Everybody's a winner.
That's right. Foster's Australian for beer.
It would be great. It would be much more fun if it ended, in Australia.
It would be.
And tag Brazil on the end. We're going to go back to Brazil at the end.
Why not?
They will have caught up by the time we're to the end of the year.
If things are a little dodgy in what they call Melbourne, go to Perth, go to Sydney. I don't know. Go to Adelaide again.
There's lots of tracks.
Why not?
I mean, COVID's everywhere, but whatever. We'll just pick a track, whatever will take us. So that's what I think. I think we should just. What's
the real cool track that the sports cars race on?
The real cool track that they race on.
With the
Phillip Island is where MotoGP goes.
That's Phillip Island. Is that where that really? It just went right out of my head. What is that on, like Gobbler's Knob or something? I can't remember what that is. I don't remember. So anyway,
it's Brands Hatch. That's in Kent.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I don't know. The really cool track is in Laguna Seca. I don't know.
No, it's is it Panorama or whatever it is? You know what I'm talking about.
Colorama? Isn't that in? Is that that's not in Australia? I don't know. Let me put it into my search engine.
Yeah,
really cool track in Australia.
Really cool track, and they're like, "Oh, for crying out, which one?" Yeah, here, let's do this.
Hey Siri, set timer for 14 minutes.
Good grief.
I just would like to point out that so my cat Ziggy, anytime I call Ziggy, especially in a certain tone, all of my devices go, yes. These are not word. Siri is apparently too close to Ziggy. And I go, hey, Ziggy. And it goes, yes, shut up. So they clearly didn't pick a name that was far enough away from a real name. That's my off tangent complaint for the evening.
Oh, I like it. I think it is Mount Panorama. I think that's what it is.
All right. We'll go with that. I mean, that's cool. Herman Tilke didn't design it, so it's probably cool.
Of course it would be.
So that's fine.
And
it's
very
a Chris
dangerous.
Bangle. Yeah. Yes.
It's a Chris Bangle rear end of the BMW. Yeah.
Exactly. I still blame him for everything.
Yeah, I know. I do too.
Yeah.
All right. And now we're down to Williams.
And Bob Lutz, I blame him for a lot of stuff too that, that's also like a 20-year-old reference.
Oh boy. You know what's going on over at Williams?
What?
Things are percolating over at
That'd
Williams.
be good because we know nothing, as we discussed last week, right? Like, I don't know. We know that Claire left. That's all we know.
Yeah. Claire's gone. You go to Claire's office right now. It's a coffee cup that's empty and a potted plant that's dead.
Oh, that's so sad.
That's just all that's left in that office. You go into Frank's office.
Looking for a fun way to win 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/play100 and use code play100. That's code play100 at prizepicks.com/play100 for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
There's burnout marks from his wheelchair. I'm out of here.
Do you think they sent Cyril a Bitbull out with a cardboard box full of his stuff?
I think they had a banker's box.
Yeah.
And he had a couple trophies in there.
And a plan.
And some paper clips and a nice pen.
Yeah.
And last year's FIA pass on a lanyard.
That's right.
And maybe he had what few K-cups he had left for his Keurig.
God. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it.
Maybe they gave him one of the little teeny tiny binder clips as a consolation prize.
And he's walking out the door. I got nothing.
I got nothing.
He's
got nothing.
Yeah. So anyway, Williams, again, shocking announcement. Not really. I think we could all just surmise that once Sir Frank and Claire were out of the picture, they were very anti-customer car and always have been, regardless of the fact that Frank got a start in Formula One using a customer car, but that's neither here nor there. That's water under the bridge. I'm not holding any grudges. I'm just making a point. But here then is the thing. Williams now, you probably saw this coming, has decided that unlike Sir Frank, they're not bashful about buying more than just engines from Mercedes.
But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
Yep, that Mercedes. You know what, Toto?
Get down.
So anyway, they now are going to buy a whole, you see, there's a whole slew of non-listed parts that you could buy from a manufacturer or supplier. And Williams, they need a serious reversal of their fortune. And without Sir Frank's anti-customer car stance, now the time is right to try and build their own pink Mercedes, so to speak.
They
right?
basically took the JCPenney's catalog like you did as a kid and just circled everything in it that they need from Mercedes, right? Like, this is what I want Santa to bring me.
Right. It was, ooh, this Craftsman toolkit. I want that.
We need one of those.
I need one of those.
Brake ducts. Those are great. Send those over.
Right. Oh, we need that flashing rain light on the back of the car. Need that. Yeah. Gotta have that. Ooh, wheel nuts. Gotta have that. Gonna need those.
Yeah, exactly. It's like anything you can get from them. Or,
can we get a steering wheel with all the computer crap and everything? That would be
right,
good.
right. Or it's like supermarket sweep, and they're just like running in and taking stuff off the shelf and dumping it into a cart and running to the checkout, right?
Right. That's like a Guy Fieri episode or something, right? Where he's at they go in and rush and try to get all their crap in the basket. So
always.
Well, that's what they're going to do. I think it's kind of funny that a team who copied Mercedes, now you have a team copying the team that copied Mercedes, and that's a form of flattery at some level. I don't know. 3 degrees separated, but whatever. If it works to get George Russell up and amongst the fight, I'm all for
point.
it.
Speaking about that, get that man at least a point.
Get that guy a point. He's battling for a point, damn it. There's a point on the line.
Get him a point.
They're crying around loud, running around here at the back of the grid. Damn it. Take a picture of that pink Mercedes. Design it like that. We'll get a gearbox from Mercedes. We're going for a point.
Or just steal one of their engineers like Flavio would do, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just go steal Andrew Shovlin or something.
Yeah, fine.
Why not?
Up. Yeah.
By the way, who the hell owns Williams?
We don't know. Nobody knows.
It's kind of like who's the owners? Anybody seen a picture of them?
No.
Might as well be Finbar at this point.
Could have been Frank. I don't know.
Could have been Frank. Frank could have had a wig on. I don't know. Hey, the good news is Frank was released from the hospital. I hope he's feeling better.
That is good, yeah. It could be John Harbaugh for all we know.
It could be.
Khaki Bandit, who knows?
Could be. Claire could have her hair up, under a hat. She could be in there. Kind of like the Gordon Ramsay when he goes in under disguise to the restaurants,
Which nobody ever figures out, which I don't know, but whatever. I think
How
that
could you not know?
Yeah. He's a very distinct human being, right?
He is an incredibly distinct human being.
He's not one that just blends in with the crowd, even with him,
No, he's not.
No. So I think that I don't know. We don't know. Maybe we'll find out this year. Maybe
we'll.
Year we find out what's going on at Williams.
This year, the owners and the team bosses this year, I agreed with Paul last week.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that Williams needs to get their own culture. They need to get their own thing going. The owners need to get out. They need to get out from behind their venture capital desks. They need to get out there, get the team ramped up.
Yeah. Introduce themselves to Lewis. Make sure
that they got to get some
pizzazz.
Some pizzazz,
That's right.
All right. Well, finally, I know in the off season it's always really thin on details and stories and posts of the week and people.
I got lots of stories. It's not thin on stories.
Well, and I thought, all right, for the off week, let's just do something other than the awards. Although if I was doing Fashion Award this week, it would be the Aston Martin new driver pictures. They look like mugshots. Have you not seen them?
No.
Google it right now, live. Absolutely.
We'll do it live.
We're going to do it live, folks. This is a big reveal.
Okay. All right. Wait. I got distracted by all the other news that was on that I got as notifications. Like, wait, what?
Whoa.
I'm
sorry.
No,
bear
There's
with us.
a lot of stuff going on here. Okay.
While
So
Grace looks up the most recent pictures. Yes, it's that time. It's that time to play Grace Reveal, where Grace takes a look at a picture for the first time. And this week, it's Aston Martin with Sebastian Vettel and Lance
here we go.
Stroll.
New livery. Oh,
Did you
come on,
find it?
Formula One. Where's the pictures?
Oh, for the
Was it, I guess, on their site? I don't know.
Yeah, it was probably on their site, I'm sure. I'm going to have to.
Well, I came up with Formula One site first, so I mistakenly clicked on that, and there was no pictures. It's just text.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Sorry. Well, I'm pretty sure when you add Formula One to anything, that's the first site that comes up.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. It's always going to come up with that. Yeah, they had new pictures of Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll, and I'll be honest with you, they look like mugshots.
Really?
And I thought you would love those.
Where are the pictures, people?
That's exactly the kind of thing, and I'm looking for it right now, Grace.
All right. Well, that's good that somebody's able to use Google.
And I'm going to try to find it for you so I can show you, because you don't want to miss this. I said right at the top I wasn't doing awards this week, and here I am. Aston Martin F1 drivers. Will that reveal? No. Why can I not find that? Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to have to tack. I'm going to have to tack, and I'm going to have to go right to my Twitter feed where I know Joel sent this to me, because Joel.
Oh, see, I haven't been on Twitter. Joel is always on top of these things.
Joel is on top of stuff like this. Here is the one of Vettel.
That's great.
And here is the one of Lance.
Oh, yeah. Here they are with their names on them.
Yeah.
Stroll, Vettel.
Stroll, Vettel.
His hair is amazing. He looks like Wolverine. Look at that hair.
He does. Wolverine. Yeah. It's out of control, is it not? So if I was doing a fashion award, I would do Lance Stroll, who looks like, I can't even, it's almost like a cross between Benicio del Toro and I don't know, somebody else. It's like that hair is like crazy hair.
Yeah, he's got some Wolverine hair.
Yeah. So anyway,
Vettel,
that's what I would
however,
do.
is like, hey.
Yeah, Vettel's like, yeah.
What are you doing later?
Hey.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Winding down my career. Yes.
Well,
so anyway, this week I thought I would do a little something different.
Okay.
And this week I thought for the off season, each week I would offer our listeners a fun/random fact. It's the fun/random act. That's right. It's time for this week's fun/random fact, the Slashies. Woo! Yes. All right.
Behind door number 3, Carol, I'll take the goats.
That's right. Ooh, sorry. All right. So this is just a little fun fact. Some of you who were watching Formula One in 1997 will remember this. And those of you that weren't watching may not remember this. But back in 1997,
That's a great statement. If you're watching in 97, you'll remember it. If you won't, you probably won't.
That's right. You got to win stuff to get stuff.
That's right.
Yes. So back in 1997, the final round of that season was held at Jerez, or as Grace might call it, Jerez.
That's terrible.
All right.
Who hired that person? God.
So it was held at Jerez. And the battle for the title came between Williams driver Jacques Villeneuve and Ferrari's Michael Schumacher. But in qualifying, there was an interesting situation. During Saturday's qualifying, Villeneuve, Schumacher, and the other Williams driver, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, all set exactly the same time in qualifying. It was a 1 minute, 21.072 seconds. And Damon Hill almost joined them. He was 0.058 seconds behind him. So you had all three of those drivers on pole with the same exact time.
So did they just do it by the order they qualified?
That's exactly right. And I was going to just say, as
sorry.
Villeneuve, he set that time first. So he got pole position along Schumacher and Frentzen in third.
I jumped your story. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah.
I just wondered.
That's the actual question is how they work it out.
Rock, paper, scissors. I don't know how you figure that one out, right?
I like rock, paper, scissors. I like that. That's good.
Rock, paper. Oh, I just punched Jack Villeneuve in the face.
Oh, what are you trying to effing kill me? I'm hitting David Coulthard.
It's like it's something my brother would have said when we were kids. I don't know why she's crying. She just ran into my fist. I was just holding it there.
He ran into my knife. He ran into my knife 9 times.
He ran into the bottle. I broke on the end of the bar and shoved him with it.
No, yeah. You're like Adrian Sutil.
That's right. Never forget.
Yes. So anyway, there's your fun fact for the week.
That's right.
Hope you enjoy that.
That was good. That's a good one. That's like great trivia.
It is. It's a bit of an oddity, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll throw that out at your next get together when you're down at the pub with a pint and you say, hey, when was the last time pole position, the top 3 drivers all set the same time for pole position? What year was it? What race was it? Who was it? And how did they resolve it? That is sure to stump your pub friends.
That is sure to get you like thrown out of your friend group.
It's like, oh, come on, man. You say, don't blame me. I listen to the idiots at the Parc Fermé, man.
Well, I don't think we ever said you'd be popular.
No.
I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure we have never said that.
But we may be able to fix that issue.
Hi, Phil Swift here for Flex Seal.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. We could become the head of Formula One digital stuff.
Digital licensing. You say, I would like to put that F1 logo stolen by 3M. I'd like to put that on a pair of socks. No, you can't do that because 3M has compression socks with our logo, their logo. I mean, that logo on it.
Yes, that's right. We, I once had an agency head that left to spend more time with his grandkids, and then like a month later, he was back. So like, that was the joke. Like, grandkids sucked, huh? You're back. Because it wasn't real, right? Like that's always the like, I need to spend time with my family. Oh, you're back. They sucked, huh?
Well, Frank, the best of luck to you, Frank.
That's right.
Good luck. And you will be missed.
Hardly knew you, but I miss you already.
Maybe not so much. I don't know.
No, Drive to Survive will miss him though.
Oh, for sure, because that tension between him and Horner.
Yeah,
you know?
And did he get the tattoo? He better not leave without getting the tattoo.
Yeah, it's like Paul said. The first thing Cyril did is look up a tattoo removal service.
Yeah, but we haven't even seen it. We don't even know what it is.
It's probably the Renault Diamond or something. It's like, a
shoe, like or Daniel Ricciardo doing the shoey, right?
There you go.
I don't know, something. What's the tattoo? That's all we had talked about that whole race.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, whatever race that was that I don't remember. But I
don't think he's a pretty hairy guy. You know, have you seen his arms and say he's a pretty hairy dude?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So you may not even be able to see it.
Get it here. There's no hair here. Get it here. Get it right here.
Oh, a neck tattoo. That would be good.
Ricciardo's face. Yeah.
Ricciardo's face on your neck. That'd be perfect.
Just because there's several NBA players that have like there's one that has his daughter's face, one has his mom's face. Like it was just really a very because I just can't I don't have any tattoos. I already I don't know if I could ever get a tattoo, but on my windpipe just seems like someplace I don't really want. That doesn't seem like a good idea.
No,
into my muscle, fine, whatever, but my windpipe, I don't know, but
I don't know.
He could do that. Daniel Ricciardo's face right here, some flames. There's no hair there.
Poor Cyril. All right. Well, that does it for this podcast. Be sure to stop by the website. Hey, big thank you to all of you that are Patreon supporters. As you know, we don't have our title sponsor this year, so every little bit helps keeping this going because quite honestly, we couldn't afford to do this and wouldn't do this without you guys. So if you're feeling generous in 2021, your support would be greatly appreciated. But be sure to share your opinion. You can do that on social media with the hashtag for this podcast is No More Cyril, Rest of the Race. Or you can put TPF podcast either way. But you can leave your comments on our website. Go to our website, engage, have some fun, talk to the community, share your opinion. You're phoning it in over there. If you're just seeing something on social media, you just do it, I'm done. Actually get invested, go. Get to our website, start a conversation over mailbox with Grace. Who knows what could happen? She could lead you into some great wine from Venezuela or Argentina,
yeah.
Yeah, Argentina. So do that. If you like
a lot of expertise with Paul and I.
I know. See. And if you like the podcast, go over to iTunes, give us a good rating, give some love over there on wherever you choose to listen to our podcast. And until next week, when we do it all over again, my friends, this is Todd, a.k.a. Negative Gambler, saying, so long, Grace.
See you next week.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
It's not what I feel I've got to prove at all. I don't really want to prove anything. I started as an amateur with no idea or no intention of becoming world champion. I was curious to find out what it was like to drive a car fast, to drive on a certain circuit, to drive a certain type of car.
Looking for a fun way to win 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projection for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/play100 and use code PLAY100. That's code PLAY100 at prizepicks.com/play100 for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.